Hey YouTube, Alex here with Alex's Agamids, and today's video is actually kind of bittersweet because it has been quite a few years since I've done a reptile room tour regarding just every individual animal I keep. I've never been a big fan of reptile room tours just because one, they take forever to film, but two, I just never really understood the trend of them. You know, there are a lot of people who make these monthly, and all power to them if they're having things change every month. But, you know, a big part about my keeping is I try to set things up and keep it permanent, keep it consistent. I never wanted to have new animals every month, one, because I obviously can't afford to, but two, just I would much rather have animals for years and years and years because of the love of those animals, as opposed to just buying animals to make content. That's just not feasible for me. I like the animals I like, and that's just how I want to keep it. However, mini rant aside, I have officially finished my college education, and I'm currently 2 weeks out from moving. As I've said in many videos, you know, I live at home with my folks. My parents have been very supportive of my hobby, but I have taken a job. I am moving out, and this will be the last time this reptile room is ever visible or ever a thing, because the reptile room is moving. I am going to be expanding, and I don't know, maybe I'm filming this just to do one last update, but for me too, I want to be able to look back on this video as sort of a reminder that we all start somewhere. You know, if I would have told myself even 8 years ago that I'd be breeding Chinese water dragons, that's a lie. I'm filming this at night, so some of the lights are going off, but I've got smart outlets, so I'll turn those back on. Regardless, I'm just gonna go sort of from left to right, the snakes, and then I'll come back around and we can go from there. So to kick the reptile room tour off, I'm going to start it with one of the first pet reptiles I ever got. This here is Hash. He's my corn snake, well, one of my corn snakes, and hopefully I can get him to come out for you guys. That's a look of a feeding response if I've ever seen it. But he is just a standard, beautiful, normal wild type corn snake, if you will. And I got him in 2011 when he was 5 years old with his supposed clutch mate Vegas. I have no idea or any way how to prove that they're related, but regardless, I got them together, and they were the animals that started it all. So both of them are now 17 years old, and they're rocking it out. I don't breed corn snakes. I've only ever bred one of my corn snakes, and that was on a breeding loan. So, you know, I don't really do anything fancy with them other than keep them and enjoy them. I love setting up these nice naturalistic terrariums. He's got a nice Sur Sun LED UVB lamp by Vivtech, so he really likes to bask under that. He'll frequently coil up on the basket. I'll put an image right now of that. He's currently just living life in a nice big 3 foot, I want to say, yeah, this is a cages enclosure. Just one of the PVC companies you can buy from. Most of my stuff is made by Animal Plastics, but this was a cage I bought secondhand off of someone who had it locally. So nice 3 foot by 2 foot cage. He can fully stretch out in it. He's only about 4.5 feet long, but he can form an L and, you know, just do his thing. Being an older snake, he doesn't move a whole lot, but he just, you know, I like to give him the room to do corn snake things, if you will. So he's got his basket, Exoterra leaves, nice little ceramic cave. I actually made that for him when I was in high school. And his water bowl. I have really hard water because I live in northern Illinois, so this is just calcium carbonate that builds up. So I promise their water gets changed every other day here. And I'd like to think that for a 17-year-old snake, he doesn't look too bad. Just living his life that a happy, healthy corn snake does. So that's Hash, 17-year-old corn snake. One of the first reptiles that started my kick in the the reptile hobby. So kicking it off with our second corn snake of the reptile room. This is Vegas. Once again, another classic wild type corn snake. He's a little bit less, I guess, tan or brown than Hash is. And you can see he's a little bit thicker. I just think that's his genetics. Like I said, he's supposedly the twin brother of the corn snake you saw previously. But same story. Got him 12 years ago. He's 17 years old though, because he was 5 years old when I acquired him, and he is currently on his yearly look for females. Now that the days are starting to get a little bit longer here, and we're starting to get those first few days where it's warmer, being 40 degrees outside here in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, as well as the heat being on in the house, my ambient room temperature goes up, and so that's his cue to be looking for females. So, you know, sort of cool because he doesn't truly hibernate, but he definitely gets a lot of seasonal changes. He can detect when it's drier, when it's more humid, cooler, and hotter. Regardless, you can really see he is a beautiful snake. It's so hard to beat, you know, the wild type corn snake, in my opinion. Just the reds and the oranges and the blacks outlining those saddles. They are gorgeous snakes. And similar to Hash, as you can see, got a ceramic, sort of a black box cave I made. Lots of snags and wood for him to climb on. You know, he does perch up there, not as often as Hash, but I like to give him the option if he wanted to use it. And so then what I also like to achieve is a light gradient. And once again, he has got a VivTech Sur Sun LED UVB lamp. You know, a lot of people seem to have issues with these LED UVB lights. I've had those since 2021. They still read roughly 15 microwatts per square centimeter under a solar meter 6.2, and that's, you know, when the bulbs came out. So that'd be coming up on 3 years ago. Supposedly the LEDs last 4 years, and from what I understand, VivTech, unlike some of the other UV lamp manufacturers that rely on fluorescence, they have dialed in their bulbs, specifically this model, which is called the First Call, to have more, I guess, emphasis or illumination of ultraviolet A wavelengths, which I've definitely noticed a big change in the way they behave. And I used to keep these snakes with T5 fluorescent fixtures by Arcadia and Zoomed. I tried different brands, so the 6%, oh, sorry, Vegas. Regardless, you can see, super inquisitive snake, still super active and lean for a 17-year-old boy. And yeah, that's really all I've got to say about him. Like I said, living his life, doing the best he can, and yeah, that's Vegas, supposedly the twin brother of Hash. You can see this is too why I like to offer different structures and stuff for them to climb on, so he can stretch out diagonally and work his muscles and whatnot. You see how he's nice and lean? If I run my thumb, you can just make out the outline of the side of his muscle, but he's not skinny. You know, lean, muscular snakes are definitely the way to go in captivity. And I think it's one of the reasons why he's living to the nice age that he is, and hopefully I will have him for many more years to come. So this is a bit of a awkward camera angle, but what you can see is Chili, my Sunglow albino het motley corn snake, coming out of his sky hide. He was hoping I would have been bringing him food, but instead I brought him a phone camera. So he might duck back up there, but still kind of a cool shot. Once again, showing why I like to give my snakes different climbing structures and whatnot. You know, instead of just having all my hides on the ground, he does love that sky hide box, and it makes him work his muscles to climb up and reach it. Chili is one of my corn snakes that I've got in a T8 animal plastics enclosure, and so this is actually a 4-foot enclosure, which is something I want to get my other two corn snakes upgraded to. It's just a matter of space, time, and money, and especially given their age, I'm worried. I don't want to stress them out, taking them out of an environment they've lived in for so long. But Chili being young, he hatched out at a place I was interning at in 2016. So he used to fit in the palm of my hand. It was really cute. And then my boss at the time said I could keep him because he was the only albino with a clutch. So he has since been in my care. I actually sent him out on breeding loan because he is het for the motley gene, and I just wanted to prove that out with some other genetics that a friend of mine had in a female corn, so he did some breeding in 2022. But other than that, he's been in my care, just living life. It is so rewarding to see him use the space. He loves to sit up on the ledge. I've done videos. I've got the Pro Products Radiant Heat panel, so he'll bask under it. I do not have any UV lights on him just because he's an albino. I've thought about investing into one of those VivTech LEDs because you can dim them if you use a Herpstat, which I have a Herpstat 1 on here, so if I upgraded to a Herpstat 2, I could ramp the lighting. Something to look into down the line. Who knows, maybe you'll see that in a future Reptile Room update. But nonetheless, he's still rocking it out. He's young, he's spry. He has one hell of a feeding response for a corn snake. He will fly out of this enclosure at me if I let him. And nonetheless, I just think he's a really beautiful snake. And the Sun Glow Albino has reduced white along the saddle, so he almost looks like a flaming orange snake to some extent, except for the small bits of red you can make out on him. So that is Chili. Doing well, living large, and like Vegas, somewhat on the run, hoping that he'll encounter a girlfriend this year, but that's not happening. All right, I do apologize if the camera is a bit shaky here, just because I'm gonna take it off the tripod. But in this enclosure, we have everyone's favorite Chinese water dragon. This is Harriet, my female Chinese water dragon. I have had her for 10 years now. So 2013 is when I got her. She's a little chubby right now because even though I am not going to be breeding her this year, she's still doing what all females do, and so she's going through her reproductive cycles. But you can see she's a little bit brown because she's been hanging out in the colder areas, so she's just darker. But nonetheless, she is a beautiful girl, looking good in her old age, do I say so myself. And I'm very thankful to still have her because her age not only I think represents the care she's been in, especially since she did breed last year and she had some babies, but it's just the fact too regarding her care and the fact that she is in the condition she is in because of the care she's been in. Water dragons, especially the Asian water dragon, which is what she is, or the Chinese water dragon, green water dragon, Thai water dragon, they have a ton of different common names. The species is Physognathus cocicinus, as described by Cuvier in 1829. Useless information aside, you know, she's still rocking. She's doing her thing. I've definitely noticed she's slowed down this year, so even though she is cycling, I do not have Ozzy in here with her. In fact, I don't even have Ozzy at all in my current collection because with me planning on moving out, I wanted to let her take a break. I don't even know if I'm going to breed her next year just because I'm trying to get my life together. That's the reality. You know, you guys watch my content for reptile information, but at the end of the day, I can't make content. I can't keep reptiles if I can't afford them, and that's what the adulting job world is for. Regardless, like you can see now, she's starting to color up a little bit. Got some shed, and then her green is just still beautiful as ever. She's got the bright pink chin. A lot of people seem to think that water dragons, only the males get the pink and the rose. That is not true. And if anybody tells me Harriet's a boy, well, I hate to disappoint you. She's laid over 100 eggs in her lifetime. So definitely a female. But nonetheless, she's doing great. Her enclosure, unfortunately, is going to get torn down just because there's no way I'll be able to move this into my future apartment. She'll actually be moving into my animal plastics enclosure. So it's a little bit longer, but it's shorter, but she'll be going to that in my apartment. But it'll still work for the time being, just so she can enjoy retirement, doing her thing. But like I said, she's just such a pretty lady. And I'm very, very thankful to have her. You know, water dragons, in my opinion, they're so hard to beat. They're very calm once you get used to them. I don't really handle her a whole lot just because I want to let her do her thing. Regardless, though, you can see she's just an absolutely beautiful specimen. Checking out the camera there. Hi, Harriet. Gonna wish all the viewers a farewell to this chapter of Alex's Agamids, huh? She's so cool. I absolutely love the blue stripes that she has. I mean, for her to be keeping those at 10 years old is pretty remarkable in my opinion. A lot of water dragons, their whole body looks blue, and that's because they do not have preformed vitamin A or carotenoids in the diet. So you have to make sure you are gut loading your feeder bugs and you're offering them dietary variety. You know, everybody asks me, what do I feed my water dragons? You know, it's no secret. They just look this good because they get variety. I feed them crickets, roaches, earthworms, superworms. They get black soldier fly larvae. They will get hornworms once in a while. I never feed mice or fish or lizards just because there was a paper that was published that shows they don't eat those in the wild. I have no idea what she's staring at over here. But she's not looking at the camera. Regardless though, they are, that's the key to making them look great. And I'd like to think, you know, again, by having her as long as I've had her, gonna hop up, that that's sort of the key to having them long term. So there's Harriet. Again, not much has changed with her enclosure. I did switch out a ceramic heater for a deep heat projector. She's got ZoomEd ReptiSun 10.0 UVB lighting, some halogens. I've just got a 39 watt halogen flood and then one of the Zilla mini halogens, as well as her bright 6.5K LEDs. So there's Mama Harriet, doing awesome as always. Sort of a cool camera angle there. The dragon in the trees. But yeah, as I said, I do not have Ozzy with me. He's currently out at a friend's facility because I want to prioritize moving out of my folks' place. I really don't want her to be breeding, but regardless, Ozzy is currently breeding at my friend's facility. So Harriet's with me because she's my sentimental water dragon. I won't be breeding water dragons for 2024. I honestly don't care because you'll see some images of the new water dragons I'm raising up. I don't have them here either, but hopefully 2025 or 2026, I'll be back on the lizard breeding kick. I just need to use this year to get established and, you know, save up the money to keep reptiles responsibly. I want to quickly, you know, answer the elephant in the room. Where's Zilla? Where's my Argentine black and white tegu? So because of how Zilla is a large lizard and she's very demanding as far as her care requirements, she was an animal that I did give to a friend of mine while I was at college. So I'll insert some photos of her right now. She's living great. Back in 2021, I actually bought her a massive 8-foot long enclosure, so you can see a photo of me sitting in it with her. Like, she's living large. It's just unfortunately a case where I do not have her with me. I am planning on moving her up with me. Again, it just comes down to timing because that is a big cage that was custom made. Right now, it's honestly easier if I just PayPal my friend money to feed her and he takes care of her as needed because it's a big animal with a lot of responsibility. So that's why you're not seeing any footage of Zilla. Like I said, I've got plenty of these photos. You can see her basking on her platform and, you know, doing the tegu things, but she's still alive. She's well. She's coming up on, I want to say 8 years now because I got her in 2016. So, you know, tegus live a long time. One of my friends had an Argentine black and white that lived to be in its 20s, so I'm really hoping I have her for a while. But for those of you that were asking about Zilla, that is where she is. So I figured to wrap up this last reptile room tour, I'd finish off with Hash just because, one, out of him or Vegas, he's the one that's less likely to bite me. But two, just because, again, Hash represents the first one of the first 2 reptiles I ever acquired, and it just seems fitting to let him be the star of the show as we conclude the last reptile room tour for a while of Alex's Agamids. I have an announcement as far as what I plan to do with the channel, and for that announcement, I'm sort of going to switch gears on YouTube to really only uploading when I want to. I've kind of already done that for the past couple of years, but the truth is the online reptile community just seems to be getting more and more toxic, more and more drama-filled, and that seems to be the only way a lot of the mainstream content creators can get views. It's by canceling other people. It is by claiming that their way of care is the best way. And I really don't want to be affiliated with a bunch of toxic degenerates. I try really hard to have a high standard towards consistency with animal keeping. Had Hash here for 12 years. Very few of these big time content creators have been keeping reptiles for more than 3 years, and the ones that have had animals for a little bit longer than that haven't bred anything, haven't stuck with anything. How many of these other keepers can truly say that they've had the endurance to work with the animals that they keep and choose to keep? You know, this is, like I said, Hash is a normal corn snake. The average content creator may just get this for views and then rehome it because they want to get the next newest morph or something rare. You know, I like Hash and all my corn snakes because I just personally think they're cool and they're absolutely beautiful. So I'm not trying to sound elitist or some snob. I'm not better than anybody when it comes to animal care. I just don't want to associate with people that think they are better than everybody because they make YouTube videos. I make YouTube videos because I want to educate you guys and share my experiences, but it's just difficult to justify wanting to educate people on this platform when 9 out of 10 other people will bash somebody because they do something differently. And I just don't want to be associated with that. So, you know, I'm planning on making a more in-depth video on probably the 8th anniversary of my channel. However, for now, I just want to leave y'all with that. So, I am Alex of Alex's Agamids. This is Hash, my 17-year-old normal corn snake. Thank you so much for watching.